Hello, my name is Lynn Donovan, and this evening I am gathered around the Advent wreath after lighting the candle for peace. It's a pretty loaded word, isn't it? Always has been, I guess. It begs more questions than answers. Probably the central question is, can there be peace without justice? And our sacred text constantly inviting us to return to that question. And we return to it again on the second Sunday of Advent, when we read the story about John the Baptist. So John is in many ways the still point in the middle of two seasons. He is very representative of the prophetic line within the tradition of Israel. And at the same time, he's laying the groundwork for the ministry and the wisdom of Jesus. And for me, what's always important here is to recognize that Jesus very much represented the deepest roots of his own tradition. He was Jewish, and his mentors and models were Jewish. And so I'm always thinking that he learned about faithfulness from Ruth, and he learned about courage from Esther. He didn't just drop from the sky. And so John is a well-known prophet. And as was the case in that context, there were all kinds of religious men wandering around and gathering followers, and then people would be baptized into their particular vision. And people are coming to the Jordan to be baptized by John. And John, within the tradition of the prophets, is telling them, don't think that this baptism, just being submerged in water, is going to change anything for you or anyone around you. What really needs to change, he says, is your life. And don't think, he says, just because you can call yourself Jewish or you can call yourself Christian, that that's going to make a difference. Change your life so as to bear fruit for the kingdom. And people said to him, what are we to do then? And he said, if you have 2 coats, give one to someone who needs it. And if you have more than enough food, then share it with those who don't. And the tax collectors, who were known for ripping people off on behalf of the Romans, they said, what do we do? And he said, stop ripping people off. And even the soldiers who were there maintaining, well, the Romans would say peace, but ultimately it was control, said, what are we to do? And he said, stop harassing people. No more blackmail, and be content with your rations. The roots of our tradition are pretty basic, right? Be a good neighbor. And being a good neighbor means looking out for the well-being of your neighbor. And in that vision are the roots for peace. It seems to me that the prophets and John are asking and laying the groundwork for us to wrestle with those 2 eternal questions that Patrick Ó Tuama, who is an Irish poet and peacemaker, alludes to in a poem he calls The Northern of Ireland, another place where people were working hard to determine what it would take to have peace. And Patrick Ó Tuama suggests this. These are the questions that remain always. Who are we to be with one another? And how are we to be with one another. And I think I want to come around again to those words by Mary Oliver. As we look at the world in which we live, it is hard not to be jaded. And yet we are invited this week by John. Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. And participate and give your heart to that possibility by daily acts of generosity and fairness. And you will plant peace. I invite you, as you are considering this loaded word, peace on earth, goodwill to all people, how you might serve in your words, in your actions, and your attitudes as a flame and a planter of peace in your home, in your workplace, in your community. It is among our highest and most challenging of callings. Peace be with you, good friends. Peace be with you.